Yes, thank you for catching up and for passing that catch up. All my new followers, we're almost at 100 subscribers, and that really means a lot to me. And so before we get this episode started, I want to thank you, those of you at the table, those of you who have brought organic thoughts, who have brought organic conversation. I thank you. I'm not perfect, but the reason in starting this show was to better help learn about myself through others, through differences in others, through meeting people, through learning about people. And so everyone who's come to this table, this episode is for you. The organic, just the organic person that you are. I want to thank you. You're not a follower, you are a leader. And so for all of those who are at the table, this episode is dedicated to you. And hopefully after this episode, we can get over 100 subscribers. Next episode will be a celebration of the triple digits. And we're just always continuing to grow. And so again, I want to thank everyone who's just helped spread this message. And I continue to just thank you and for the support and for just helping me grow as a person through you. This episode, I really want to just, I want to talk about a few things. There's so much that's, always going on in the world. First off, I do want to give my thoughts and prayers out to Turkey right now. What's going on overseas over there right now. It's one of those things that I think that, and I had a friend who, a good friend of mine who, he lived over in Turkey for several months, for about half a year, and told me that the people there are just so beautiful. And, we think that just because, we're a Western society, Christian society, that we're not going to cover Muslim, coverage or things that happen in Muslim countries like Turkey and Syria. And what he was saying is that Eastern media is also just as guilty as Western media in terms of how they play into, money of what gets, promoted on mass media. And again, Malcolm X said it best, he who controls the mind of the media controls the mind of the masses. And I just think that, again, I want to, first start off before we go into anything pertaining to entertainment or just whatever, blah, blah. I think it's important that we address the real life issues first, and that we send our thoughts and, good energy over to those people out there in Turkey. And if other people aren't going to talk about it, I think that it's important that we talk about it. That earthquake was just very traumatic, and I think that the people over there deserve some thoughts, prayers, and just some love. And so we want to continue to send that over there. My friend, who I also did mention, he did say that, he's doing everything that he can to not only send help, but a lot of packages have been set forth for people to get sent money to be sent to other places of refuge, and that everyone is doing what they can to help to bring arms together to better help those people. And so I want to again say we love you, Turkey and Syria, and we want to pray for other countries who may be going through hard times. And so with that being said, last episode we talked about love and hate. We talked about the NFL. Again, the Chiefs. That's who we're going to talk about today. Shouts out to Mahomes. I'm a Saints fan first and foremost. I will say that. My only affiliation with the Chiefs is just grandma and sister, graduated. Well, not my grandma, but my sister graduated from KU. Family graduated from KU. And so Kansas City has been an affiliation. But I just wanted a good game, and that's what I got. But last episode, we talked about ownership in the NFL. We talked about there being no black owners in the NFL, and why is that? And so here's my theory, and here's what, seeing from the Chiefs the last couple of years, again, this is like the kind of like the plantation, the plantation with the slave masters making all the money for the plantation. Cotton was just so profitable. And so one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about today was, again, the Chiefs. Congratulations to the Chiefs, but congratulations to the owners because they're the real winners in this. And again, I want to talk about why there's no black owners. And so we're going to look at, the Chiefs as of the start of this season. Before they even won the championship, they were worth, they were basically a team that, annually, is bringing in $495 million. They had been to 3 championships. They had won one of them, lost 2 others prior. And, just look at these expenses. The annual expenses per year, $243 million. This team was bought for look at that, a whopping $25,000 in 1960. The operating income of this team is, I want to say company, but team is $119 million, and the per fan revenue is $62. And so look at all those things that I'm talking about. And so this is why, last episode, we talked about Jerry Jones and how, he says he's not racist, but, we need action from, not only Jerry Jones, Roger Goodell. We need action from people in power to put their money in their mouth where their heart is. I mean, I don't know how else to say this because look at these numbers. That's why there's no black owners, because it's not in buying the team, it's in owning it. It's not in buying the team, it's in owning it. Because who's to say that if we have a Cleveland Browns owned by Jay-Z, and in 2 years, just by the influence of Jay-Z and Floyd Mayweather being owners, Daquan, Johnson goes there and, they win a championship. And again, it's not in buying the team, it's in owning it. And so the net worth 1 year goes from, 1.1 billion to what? 2 billion? Again, the power is not in buying it, it's in owning the team. And so it makes sense why there's no black owners. And we've got to, look at these numbers. And so, you look at a player like Mahomes, they hit the lottery. And so the real winners are the owners of the Chiefs, who in the last, 5 years have been to 5 AFC championships. The stock in their team alone is just, even my dog, says that. So it's like, wow, how can that be something that, we continue to do? You better be quiet. I ain't playing. Yeah. See, my dog got something to say, but I'm going to be the last word, There's a lot of power in owning a team. Again, so owning a team, there's so much power in just owning a team. It's truly a fraternity within itself of no black people. So it's not by coincidence that there's no black owners, or that, in the NBA, there's partial ownership, but there's not 100% ownership from a black person. I mean, and we really have to really just look at this from a telescope, from a microscope lens, and just see like, wow, like, the power in owning a team is that as soon as you win, the price of the chicken fingers, the beer, the parking lot prices, the seats, the cost of the t-shirts, the jerseys, all that goes up. And so, again, ownership is everything. It's no different than having a house in the hood And then once a Starbucks is on the corner, once a Chick-fil-A is on the corner, ding, 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 you know, your value has gone up. And so, yes, it's a lot of value and ownership, real estate. Again, the NFL is all about real estate. And so I challenge the NFL, if it's not racist and if they say end racism, to put more black owners. Because again, look at what the stock of the Chiefs is going to do now. You know, I'm not a fan, but I like money and I like what's going on. You know, look at the owners. You know, they're giving, you know, the owner gave ownership down to the kid. And so, you know, now the kid has partial ownership. The kid is going to have that wealth, you know, and it's just, I want to see Jay-Z. I want to see Floyd Mayweather. I want to see people of color owning an NFL team. If it's the Panthers, you know, Black Panthers. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I want to see that. And so, you know, again, you know, let's talk about, you know, just we're almost at 100 subscribers. Again, I want to thank y'all for coming to the table. And one of the reasons I look at one of the reasons of me even starting this podcast, it's ultimately, it's always been in me. Like, really, like I when I was in high school, I did the high school news. Early in the morning, I would get to school and do the news. I even had a green screen at the time, and just talking about, like, you know, sports in high school. I would do it with another anchor, and you know, just even from an early age, it's like I look at me starting this podcast. It's like it's always been something that I've done. My freshman year at Colorado State Pueblo, I did a speech for a former mayor of New Orleans, where I basically just introduced him to the college, and just, you know, told him about how, you know, this was a mayor, you know, who, you know, was at the time, you know, just someone who was, you know, someone, a figure of New Orleans, you know, during Katrina and so forth. And so, again, like, that was just something I really, ever since I've always been, I guess I could say, someone who's just being comfortable in front of the camera, but also love bringing information to the people. I'm not perfect. I'm still practicing, like even right now, stuttering and just my ums. It's things that I try to be cognizant of when producing a great show, being very cohesive, but also not boring to the listener, and also providing, you know, great production, you know, music, what have you. This is just something that I love doing. And so as it grows, as I get more time for it, it will get a lot better. It's just going to be very fluid, and I'm super excited. And so, thank you again. And so I just had to kind of say, like, that's part of my reason in doing the podcast. And where the podcast is going to go from here is so many great ideas, and as well as just heights. We're just going to take it to new heights. And so appreciate you catching up with me. So, you know, right now we're going to talk about, you know, you can't break my soul, but you can't break my pockets. Yeah, look at these Beyonce tickets, y'all. So, you know, are we going? Are we not going to the concert? You know, me, myself, and I, all I got is a couple dollars for my rent, for my groceries. But I know that I'm going to make it, and okay, I'm going to stop. Shouts out to the Beehive, you know. You know, my pockets is stinging. So, B, if you see this, Jay, you know, I'm just being polite, you know, but B, you know, if you could hook a brother up with some tickets, you know, I'll forever be grateful. You know, your last album was absolutely splendid. You know, shouts out to you for getting the Grammy. You know, is she the creator of electronic, you know, house music? We'll say that was Little Richard. That's another episode for another day, you know, but Little Richard may possibly be the creator of EDM, you know, just, you know, we have to look at like house music starting in Chicago and, you know, by black kids in the, you know, in the suburbs and so forth. And, you know, you just look at like this album is really getting people like just dancing. And like, I love when like people could just dance, like, you know, girls and guys could get off their phones in the club and just dance up on each other. That's a beautiful thing. You know, during that pandemic when we were all, you know, away from each other, you know, this music is like the, you know, you just, you know, yeah, you know, yeah, I like that. And so, you know, look at these tickets. Are we going? Yeah, like this is pretty, look at these VIP tickets in Houston, 3,500. Yeah, so, you know, imagine, you know, you take your significant other, that's, yeah, 7 racks, baby. Yeah, what? You can't break my soul. You can't break my soul. Can't break my soul. But you can't break my pockets. You can't break my pockets. Yeah, so, you know, shouts out to B. You know, then again, I wonder what Taylor Swift pockets. I mean, I wonder what her tickets is. I'm sure if her VIP is 35, I'm sure Taylor Swift Taylor Swift ass probably like what, 7,500 VIP. We're gonna look that up later for another day. You know, I'm gonna post it. You know, I'm sure it's a whopping number, but crazy. You know, and so, you know, one of the things I wanted to sum up was, you know, you look at Tesla is about to possibly take a deal with Mexico and do some contracts out there with the Mexican president to have factories in Mexico. And, you know, Elon Musk, you know, he's a very polarizing guy. You know, my dad, he don't even like solar, like, he don't even like solar panels sometimes without thinking about Elon Musk. And, you know, he just like, man, that Elon Musk, he's a polarizing guy. But then I talk to some people, they're like, man, my stocks in Tesla are doing really well. And yeah, Elon is that guy. And so, you know, it's just like, you know, the reason I'm talking about him starting a factory in Mexico is because it makes me think about this book. And I'm going to put it right there. It's called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And we look at like these places in these lesser developed countries because, you know, when we say lesser developed, there's really lesser access to information as well as lesser resources. And who are we to say that? Because we as Americans are so useless. We hide information from each other as well as, you know, from our own, you know, people within the United States. You know, we in America hide information from poor people, not just people of color, but poor people, for real. And so, like, you know, in other countries, we would like to say they're underdeveloped, but like we as America, we're just stupid developed. And so it's like, you know, it's like, you know, one of the things that I'm going to talk about in other episodes is how, like, I've truly found a passion and a purpose for finance. And just like, I've always wanted to work in tech, but, you know, these tech, you know, companies want to have these crazy ASS, you know, criterias for them to meet for you to get into their companies. But then when it comes to just understanding the finance of these companies and understanding that at any moment, these companies are like just basically built on eggshells and can be broken down because, you know, their value is in the shareholders' pockets. And so it's not in like, you know, they could develop these new technologies, these new phones, these new, you know, ways of funding money within the cities or whatever. But it's like, as soon as, you know, the personal shareholders feel like, you know, just the integrity of the company is shit and the company as a whole, you know, is just not worth representing people and good values, that's when those companies like to straighten up. They like to straighten up. You know, as soon as, you affect their pockets, that's when they like to straighten up. And so me going into finance was just understanding that, it's just sad. Like, and again, like we're starting, you got to look at what's happening. So Tesla's going into Mexico. What's that going to do for the American, employers? Because I'll say this, the last couple years, and I'll go into this in a later episode, but my life was drastically impacted during COVID because of basically like where I was working, they had hired a lot of people in Mexico City. And I mean, shouts out to the people of Mexico, because I want them to be able to have opportunities to be able to feed their families, to be able to support themselves. But what it does is, because of the pay scale system over in Mexico, where it's cheaper than in America, you can basically outsource American workers and say, you know what, we're just going to pay people to do the same job in Mexico and just cut out the people in America. And so like you just basically, you get, is it personal or is it business? And so you can't say that like, you value, the people, here, but then, just cut out costs, and pay people to do a job, lesser, like, because basically you're just saying like, yeah, we don't, we could, bleed their land, again, confessions of an economic hitman, we don't even got to know their language, but we could take their land. We could, go set up buildings over there. We could truly take away power from them, pay them less, not worry about the people in our own land. And, again, it's almost like adopting over in other countries, but yet, you forget about the people, in your own family, in your own backyard, in your own country. So I just wanted to kind of wrap that up with the episode. Again, we're almost at, 100 subscribers. I really appreciate all of the organic topics that have been brought to this convo, to this table. I love y'all. I thank y'all. Good night. Good morning if you're on the other side of the globe.